The following is a Metro TV special presentation.
Well, welcome everyone. Good morning. Good to see you all. Congratulations for being here. This is pretty cool. Before I would come, we're graduating today, right? So I've visited with some of your all's predecessors before in the program, so we never had the graduation ceremony here. So I want to thank you for coming to your Metro Hall here. This is what I like to say the living room of the city, and it's open to everybody, and it's a beautiful structure there from the rotunda to this room here. So if you have events and you're looking for a place, keep it in mind. So it's as much your all's as it is mine, as it is anybody's. Just a lot of people don't come through here from time to time. So please know that you're always welcome. And again, congratulations on the class, on graduating. I want to congratulate Ben Richmond also for his many years of service at the Urban League. I guess you started with the class and Sadiqa was wrapping it up. So
Ben's still involved.
Ben will always be involved, and we appreciate that. But thank you, Ben, for your years and years of service, and couldn't be more happy that Sadiqa Judge Reynolds is running the team here. We've worked together for the last 5 years hand in hand on many issues in the community as our chief for community building. So we've got a strong leader at the Urban League and really appreciate your great citizenship. So thank you. So just a few words. I obviously wanted to say congratulations to you all for the professional development that you've been going through here with this class over the last several months. I'm a business guy that just happens to be mayor. I've been mayor for 5 years. I want people to always remember, first and foremost, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not a career politician. So I'm somebody that understands the importance of what you all are going through in terms of continuous education, lifelong learning, stepping up to be part of a program like this, and then the program obviously being available for that type of continuing education. One of the things that I've seen time and time throughout my career, and we hear it from our employees here as well as the folks that I used to work from, is that opportunities for professional development are really what motivate leaders. What being a leader is all about is saying, how can I elevate my ability to do more good in the world? And one of the ways that obviously you can do that is by exposing yourself to new experiences, learning new things, having a new group of friends that you can network with throughout the rest of your career so that you can see opportunities that you maybe didn't see before. And those could be opportunities for advancement in your career. They are often going to be more things of opportunities to help people that you didn't know existed before. And by helping other folks, obviously, we create pathways for ourselves to do more good. And ultimately, that's why I think we're all here on the face of the earth, is to leave it a better place than what we found it. And if we don't have the capacity to do that and the increasing capacity to do that, I think we're limiting not just our individual potential, but certainly the potential of our families and our community as well. And the bottom line is none of us are born with all of these tools. So how do we put ourselves in a position so we learn new tools, where we challenge ourselves, where we put ourselves, frankly, in uncomfortable positions? Because I always feel like when I'm in an uncomfortable position, I'm going to learn something. And if I keep putting myself in those uncomfortable positions time and time again, you build skill. And those skills obviously then are what allow you to take some type of issue that some people see as a challenge, and to you is an opportunity to express competence, express leadership, express inspiration, so other people then follow, and then what happens? You achieve things that nobody ever felt were even possible for yourself, much less for your team. And it's this virtuous cycle then that creates confidence in yourself and your ability to take on new challenges, but as importantly, if not more importantly, people that are on your team that have elected to follow you for some reason, that together you all say, we can do this. And that's when people start notifying, hey, these are people that I want to be associated with because they get good things done, whether it be in the workplace or, as I said, in the community as well. Because we need good leaders more than ever. You can see the type of times we're living in right now are unusual. I think they're unusual because everybody knows everything so fast, because of the connected world that we live in through the web right now. And there's also, I think, one of the impacts of that connected world is it empowers people all across the bell curve. And, when you're in the middle of the bell curve, it's kind of normal. But when we get out on those fringes, it can get pretty exciting. Sometimes in ways that we don't really find that beneficial. When you think about the international level right now and what's going on with terror and how that's affecting how everyone feels about what's going on. When you take a look at what's happening at the national level right now and the kind of discourse that's taking place during the presidential debates, that's sometimes not so presidential in my view, but there's a lot of fear-mongering and hate-mongering that's taking place there in the political cycle that's very confusing to a lot of people, and it kind of appeals to their rawest emotions, the opposite of what you guys are doing with kind of dedicating yourself to training and lifelong learning. When you go to the state level, we're having a change in gubernatorial administrations, which doesn't have to be bad, but it's uncertain, so it adds that other layer of uncertainty. And then when you take a look at what's going on at our local level, a lot of contention around different development issues in the projects, different projects that we have in the community, and then emotions around all of that. What we frequently see that runs through all those issues is that we have people espousing issues related to fear more than the facts. And what we know as a people is that we can't let fear dictate our future. So it's up to us then to say, okay, I understand the fear and I understand the concerns, but let's step back a little bit and then look at the facts as well before we decide to move forward. Because if you move forward just on fear, ultimately people are going to say that was a shallow platform to move forward on. Your credibility as a leader will be destroyed and people will not follow in the future. And if they don't follow, basically what that does is undermines your ability to be a future leader, to do more good things in the world. And so the type of training that you're receiving is something that successful leaders go through from an economic standpoint. When I look at the future of our city and I look at the present of our city, the facts are, like in most every American city, is that men of color are underrepresented in our leadership positions, whether it be the CEO or the next level of leadership or the next level of leadership. So we can wring our hands and we can protest about that, or we can go to work. Okay? You guys are going to work. And the companies that you're working for are stepping up and saying, yeah, we recognize that as well. So how can we help? By providing the resources for a program like what you all are going through right now. Then my hope is that this is what all companies end up doing. We have a tremendous issue in this country right now, in our city as well, in terms of workforce readiness. And it doesn't matter what level you're talking about. This could be entry level at Ford, entry level at GE, where a lot of folks, just lack the basic social skills to say, okay, if I got a job, I'm supposed to show up at 7:30 every morning. That means that, 99% of the time during the year, I'm there at 7:30 in the morning. That 1% of the time, something else happens. So whether it's at that level or the level you guys are talking about, where you're pursuing or have master's degrees or you're moving up toward the C-suite in your companies, what are those skills that are required? National problem. Even more so, again, in this rapidly changing, globalized world, What we're doing in the city is evolving our economic development strategy toward a strategy that focuses on innovation, inclusion, and globalization. Because we know that as companies focus on those areas, those are the industries that A, pay above the national median, and two, are creating jobs of the future. So if we don't expose people to those facts and then train people to that reality, then we'll be falling behind as a city, regardless of skin color, ethnicity, language, etc. But in order for everyone in our community, in the country, to feel like they have a path forward, they need to be able to look at leadership positions, and I think it's just because of the way we're wired as human beings, they need to see somebody that looks like them to say, hey, I got a shot at this too. And you guys know that. You've all lived this life here. I'm this 57-year-old white guy up here talking about this. But I feel like I'm sensitive to the need, and I feel like I'm trying to help. But it's really important for these, right now, some of the friends of your sons and daughters, or young brothers and sisters, cousins, whatever they might be. It is a confusing, difficult time, especially for boys of color in our country right now. It is very easy to feel like they are being picked upon. You see the media that goes on. You see the type of heinous crime that's on video in Chicago this past week. How can you not walk around being a little concerned about what's going on in our community and in our country? So it's important that they have strong role models that are lifelong learners, that are saying we can be upset, but at the end of the day, we got to do our work. We got to keep working. We got to keep training. And that's what you guys are doing, and I really, really appreciate it. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for stepping up. It's fun to learn, and you guys are getting paid to learn at the same time. It's not costing you anything. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? It's like, sign me up, boss. So, but you did it, and I hope what you'll do is, pass this on to your colleagues as well. And what I hope we can do separately sometime, I know a couple of you guys, when I see you, is, let's keep talking about this dialogue. It is incredibly important to our city that we have our leadership positions reflect the faces of our city. And there's certainly training issues associated with that. There's social issues associated with that. There's cultural issues associated with that inside of your country and within our community as well. And part of my mission is to break down any of those barriers, because I know, A, that's part of who I am, but B, I know economically, if that's not who our city is, we cannot reach our potential. And to me, the job of the mayor is to create platforms for people to realize their human potential and our collective potential. So we're all in this together. I appreciate your all's leadership, and I congratulate you on this fine distinction today. Good job.
Gentlemen, I'm going to try to make this quick. I'm going to dispense with the preliminary remarks I was going to make, and we're going to get right directly to the certificates, because I do want to hear the new president of the Louisville Urban League. So we're going to start off. Oh, I'm sorry. We want Anthony Beckley, who is with GE. If you will notice in your program, Anthony has already moved to greater challenges. He's going to give reflections on the actual training that the 14 candidates went through. So we're going to ask Anthony to come up. Anthony, you want to come up? And let's give him a clap.
Thank you. Good morning. So since we're pressed for time, I'll make sure, as the preachers say, I don't go too long on my sermonette. They say sometimes the first shall be last and the last shall be first. I knew I was in trouble when I received a phone call when I was the only one absent from the last meeting. And they said, we've got something to tell you. We voted you as the speaker to represent us. So I will do my best to do that. To the mayor of our great city of Louisville, his staff, the Urban League, you know, our mentors, our employers, our family, our friends, the media, and all other interested citizens of the great Commonwealth of Kentucky who are present and those who are not. Thanks for sharing our special day with us. My charter was to speak about what the Urban League, what the Urban Leadership Alliance seminar experience meant to me and how it shaped me / us, right? So first thing I'll tell you is it's a methodical approach. It's about 9 months. We all are in charge of holding a meeting at our respective places of business. And so we get together for a day each month for consecutive 9 months. And in between that time, we're charged with reading all sorts of material that deal with the content that will be shared in the class that's upcoming. That's a project in and of itself, to organize 14 men who are, you know, somewhat prima donnas, you know, busy individuals, fathers, working men, community leaders, busy. And to get them all in one place with the right directions, through the guard checks, you know, to the right building, on time, is something to be said. So it's a project, it's a wheel within a wheel, is this motion we went through. It's a project within a project. And so after we host the meeting, we have 2 worldly geysers present at each meeting. You know, this individual, Alan Colley, and Nathaniel Green, these are our goalposts. These are our rocks, if you will, as we navigate the waters of how to conduct ourselves as not only men of color, but men who are seeking to pierce the C-suite. So imagine the first meeting, 14 cats that don't know each other, coming together with 2 guys we don't know. So 16 individuals are in the room, plus Master Ben Richmond, who's there to welcome us. And everybody's looking around, and we're saying to ourselves, you know, we're sort of got this guarded face on, right? I don't know how much I'm gonna tell about myself, right? And what I found interesting is that in the first meeting, it was all about self-awareness. Who are you? How do you communicate? How do you perceive yourself? What do you value? What are your morals? What means something to you? Who shaped you? Where did you come from? That was a serious first meeting, because by the time that 2-day stint was over, we knew that mama was important. We knew that religion was important. Now, I don't care what anybody in this room says. I'm going to tell you, religion makes a good leader. Without it, you're nothing, okay? So after the first meeting, we knew who was who in the zoo, if you will, okay? So after we learn about who we are, then we start dealing with, well, how do I perceive myself? How do others perceive me? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? So again, we're tearing down the facade of who we thought we were and getting to the core of who we need to be so that we're good candidates to be promoted and to be good leaders in the community. I'll share some of my lessons learned. We're no longer worker bees. We're no longer worker bees. See, everybody that was in the class knew how to get things done. They knew how to be individual contributors. They knew how to put it all the weight on their shoulders and get it done. But what we didn't quite know how to do is is how to get things done through others. You know, I once learned that the soft stuff is the hard stuff. The higher you climb, the harder it is to get information. Does anybody know what I'm talking about in here? The higher you go, the harder it is to get information. Who said that? Nathaniel agree. All right. I learned some things about the power of effectiveness. And we were all good at putting together a technical solution, but we didn't know a whole lot about acceptance and getting people to accept that solution. So my formula that I learned a long time ago is effectiveness is amplified by the power of acceptance. You can have a solid technical solution, but if nobody accepts it, it goes nowhere. Okay? We learned that leaders do the right things, but we learned that managers do things right. And we learned that we are leaders, and we need to do more of that so that we amplify our capabilities. So I'm going to end with a few challenges. First, I'm going to call out the employers. We thank you. Anthem, General Electric, UPS, BB&T, KentuckyOne, Humana, General Electric. We thank all of our employers, but it doesn't stop there. I believe that there has to be a continual push externally and internally. ULAS 3, you're in charge of the internal push. And don't forget about if your net doesn't work, then you don't have a good network, right? So you're in charge of the internal push. But to our communities and our business leaders, as Mayor Fisher said so eloquently, you're in charge of the external push. And they both have to come together for change to really matter. Peter Drucker once said that if you want to do something new, you have to stop doing something old. So, ULAS, follow your heart, okay? This community is in charge of enticing you to stay and make a difference. But if it's not there, what do you need to do? Go where the opportunity is and make it happen. But don't forget about home. So that's my challenge to the employers. You've taken a great step. All of our employers put us here. Now, what are you going to do with us? And ULAS, what are you going to do with yourself? Okay? So that's me serving notice to our community and our employers. The last thing I'll say is if you stay on your knees, God will help you stand on your feet. Stay on your knees, stay humble, stay prayerful. We represent, I'm going to call it the 1%. We're good fathers. We're good men. Okay? Thank you for the opportunity to represent you, and thank you to everybody who showed up to support us today. Thank you.
First of all, I'm going to go right back to Anthony Beckley, General Electric. He has a mentor. That mentor was John D. Smith of Horseshoe Casino. Anthony? You want to get your picture? John Bell, Ford Louisville Assembly Plant. His mentor is Malcolm Berkeley, United Parcel Service. Chris Ellery, AT&T. Chris's mentor is Doug Phillips, Ford Assembly Plant. Henry Hayes, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield. I'm sorry, Harry Hayes. Harry is receiving his certificate with honors. It means that Harry was one of 2 people in the class that helped to inspire the learning environment that they were functioning in. Harry Hayes' mentor is Charles Matthews, General Electric retired. Sixtus Iwu, LG&E, KU Energy. Sixtus mentor is Philip Bond, Metro United Way. Dwayne Johnson, United Parcel Service, UPS. His mentor is Al Cornish, Norton Healthcare. Congratulations, Dwayne. Cedric Owens, with honors, Humana, Inc. Cedric was voted by the staff as being the person who grew most in this learning environment. His mentor is Samuel Johnson, United Parcel Service. Richard Owens, Branch Banking and Trust, BB&T. His mentor is Mike Spencer, General Electric. Richard's dad has just undergone surgery this morning, so he could not be with us. Andrea Smith, Horseshoe Casino, Southern Indiana. His mentor is Willie Peterson, Ford, Kentucky Truck Plant, retired. Willie, do you want to come up and we'll give you the certificate and you can share it with Andre. Rick Smith, he graduates with honors. He's with the KentuckyOne Health Systems. His mentor is Houston Mills, United Parcel Service. Kevin Stone, United Parcel Service. His mentor is Wade Houston, HJI. Let me explain why some of the mentors are not here. They work for a living. Ryan Weathers, Ford Kentucky Truck Plant. His mentor is Dan Hall, Dan Hall, University of Louisville. Okay. Carlos Wheeler, Humana, Inc. His mentor is Mike DePaul, United Parcel Service. Brian Woods, Humana, Inc. His mentor is Danny Turan, United Parcel Service. Okay, let's give everybody, all the candidates and mentors a quick round of applause. Piece of information here, through a contract with the Louisville Urban League, ULAS is powered by SOAR, a subsidiary of the Peer Exchange Network, LLC. SOAR officials are Sally Schott, she's back in backstage, and Alan Cowley. We call him the head coach. Let me just give you another piece of information. The next ULAS class is scheduled to begin in March of 2016. Interested companies with high potential African American males should contact the Louisville Urban League for seminar descriptions, including curriculum, components, cost, schedule of classes, and the companies are invited to pick up an application right over here on the table. And if you so desire, you can also go to www.lul.org. It is a pleasure for me to introduce to you the Urban League's new executive director, but president. But I also want to say that she's going to talk to us about the future, but also about the present. It's just a wonderful selection. We're all proud of the fact that she's going to be trying to replace Ben in his shoes, his big shoes. Her feet, of course, are not quite as big as Ben, but they will be somewhere along the line. Let me introduce to you Sadiqa Reynolds, who is the new president and CEO of the Louisville Urban League, for closing remarks.
These will be the fastest closing remarks ever. I wasn't going to talk about the past, the future, or anything else. I was just going to say congratulations to you all. It really does feel good to be in this room today with so much going on in our world, in our city, in this country. It is a blessing to see you beautiful black men doing what you are doing. I am so proud of you today. And so I thank you, and I'm glad that the mayor took the time to honor you as well. It is really a privilege to be in your presence. And so I say thank you, first of all. Nat, thank you so much for the support. To Ben, my predecessor, you know, I love you, I appreciate you so much, and I am not in any way, shape, or form trying to fill your shoes. I don't think that's how it works in this race. I think how it works is that Ben did his part, and he handed the baton to me. And so it is not for me to come behind him and do what he has done, but instead to tread forward and to push and to open doors that he couldn't open, didn't open, because they weren't there at that time. And so we all have new hurdles to jump over. And so that's exactly what I hope to do. But I love what the speaker said. You just got to stay on your knees. You have to stay on your knees, because really that's the only way to get through what it is that we need to get through. And so today, really, this is just exciting. I mean, the idea that you all have been graduating during the luncheon, and now today you have your time. Just to the graduates again, I want to say thank you to the companies who have put forward the funding and the men to allow them to be in the program. I say thank you. And Mr. Green said something. He said if you have high potential African American males in your company and you're interested in having them enroll, then call the Urban League or look online. Well, I would say to companies, if you don't have high potential African American men in your company, call the Urban League. We will help you get some. And women as well, because there are plenty of high potential African Americans in this community doing wonderful things. And so I thank you all. I hope that you will make it to the luncheon on December the 4th, which is Friday at 11:30, where you will again be honored, because we won't ever stop honoring you. We're proud of you. Hopefully those companies will be there as well. So December 4th, 11:30 is the Louisville Urban League annual luncheon, and I look forward to seeing you all there. I just want to thank you all again and say just how proud we are. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.